Welcome to your yoga practice. My name is Ginevra, and this is my husband Josh. He's my demo man for today. Today, we're going to have a yin practice focused on opening up the back of your body. You're going to need a few props. You'll need to have 2 blocks, strap, blanket, and you might like to have a bolster for Shavasana or toe stretch. We're going to start laying down on the abdomen. So if you'll go ahead and come for a downward facing Shavasana, hands underneath the forehead as a pillow. And from this position, let yourself settle and arrive into your practice. Begin to breathe in and out of your nose, becoming aware of your breath and noticing what parts of your body are moving while you're breathing. Can you allow your abdomen to start moving with the breath? As you breathe in, feel the belly move down towards the floor. And as you breathe out, feel it move away from the floor. Now, once you can get this going, we'll start to make the exhales longer than the inhales, shifting ourselves into more of a parasympathetic rest and digest state. Begin to inhale for the count of 4 and exhale for the count of 8. We'll be here for about 1 more minute, arriving on our mat. Breathing in for our count of 4 and out for our count of 8. Today in the practice, I'm going to offer the theme of noticing what feels good in your body. So you can already start to do that with the breath. Notice, do you like to take your inhales in or do you like to exhale? At the bottom of your next exhale, bring your hands underneath your shoulders and we'll shift into our first yin pose, child's pose. And start to bend your legs and shift your hips back towards your heels. So in child's pose, we want to make sure that the torso is being supported by the thighs. And you want to see if you can get your head to come down to the floor. So if it's not coming down, you can always slide a block underneath your forehead. You can also use your bolster underneath your thighs or a blanket rolled underneath the front of the ankle. So it's really up to you. And then in this pose, notice what feels good. When we practice yin, we want to come to where we first feel the stretch. And then we'll be as still as what's available in this moment for us to be while we hold for time. Can you connect to your breath? If you liked that inhale for 4 and exhale for 8, you can continue it in this pose. Helping your body shift into a more restful state as you open up the back of the body. We'll be here for about 30 more seconds. Can you soften anywhere? Maybe even letting the eyebrows and the eyes soften downward. Gently bring the hands underneath the shoulders and lift the torso. Our next shape is toe stretch. So for this one, you're going to tuck your toes under and sit your heels back, your seat back towards your heels. You might be able to walk your hands up to your thighs and bring your shoulders over your hips, but if that feels too strong, you can always lower the hands down. We'll be here for about 1 minute. This stretch can be pretty intense for most people because the plantar fascia on the bottom of the feet gets really tight. And so you might notice all kind of thoughts that come to your mind. And if that happens, see if you can focus on making your exhales longer than your inhale. Maybe even finding a place to gaze or closing the eyes, inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 8. We have about 20 seconds left. Slowly bring your hands down to the mat. Point your toes, lift your hips, and tap the tops of your feet on the mat. So for the next shape, you're going to need a rolled blanket up. So you're going to take your blanket, it'll look like this, and you'll roll it, and you'll just place it in front of you for a little bit later. You also need 2 blocks in front of you. Your blocks can be on whatever setting you need as you come into dangling pose. So for dangling pose, you'll place your hands on your blocks and you'll start to tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back. Walk your feet forward until you're in a wide-legged forward fold. We'll be here for about 1 minute before we have an option to change. Can you let the head hang? If you need to bend your legs, it's no big deal, but you want to feel stretch in the back of your body. So you might feel this in the hamstrings and you might feel this in the low back. And then notice any places you might be holding tension in your body that you don't need to be. Sometimes I'll wiggle my toes, shake my head, yes and no. Many people like to close the eyes in this shape. Now you're welcome to stay in this dangling variation for the whole time, but if you want a little bit of a calf stretch, you can lift up a little bit and place the balls of your feet on your blanket. Heels will stay on the floor. And then you might find you need to adjust the height of the blocks here, so you can always go to the highest setting if you need. And then try to soften into the shape as much as you can. Notice in your body what feels good. Our mind gets really conditioned and really good at finding what isn't going well or what we want to change. But in our yoga practice, if we can focus on what feels good, then we might notice on our life off the mat, we start noticing things that we are grateful for, that we're happy with, that we like seeing. We'll be here for 1 more minute. Begin to gently step off of the blanket and move any way that you need to move in order to reset. So for this next one, we're going to take the blanket off to the side and we're going to try to stretch our outer buttocks. Now, Josh needs 2 blocks in order to feel this. So he's going to stack the 2 blocks on top of one another and he's going to place his right foot on top of the blocks. He can also use a bolster in front of him for a little bit of hand support. So Josh is going to straighten his right leg and he's going to fold forward. You can turn the bolster on its side if you need to, for more height. And he's going to try to keep his left foot on the ground. So this is to get the right outer hip. Are you feeling it there? Okay. Maybe even into the glutes. And then again, notice what feels good in this pose. And if you're feeling like this pose feels intense, try to focus on your exhales. Maybe exhaling longer feels good in your body right now. We'll be here 1 more minute before we change sides. Begin to gently step off of the block and take your time making your way to the second side. So the blocks will come underneath the left foot this time. And this is a different side of your body, so you may not take the same propping situation as you did on this first side. You want to straighten the left leg and fold. Remember to support your hands if you need them. And notice what feels good. We'll be here for 1 more minute. Remember, you can always focus on your breath. Inhale for 4 and exhale for 8, giving the mind a job and helping shift your body into that parasympathetic nervous state. Begin to gently take your left foot off the block and make your way back onto tabletop. Our next shape is thread the needle. You can slide the bolster out of the way. Bring your wrists underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Press into your left hand. Inhale, reach your right arm up. And then exhale, thread the right arm underneath the left. Or your left arm under your right if you, it's all good. And then reach your right hand forward, extending, stretching. Should feel a stretch in the underside arm, the back of that arm, and the arm you're reaching forward. And notice what feels good in this pose. We have about 30 more seconds before we'll change sides. Gently slide your left hand underneath your shoulder, press down. And inhale, sweep the right arm up towards the ceiling, stretch, open, and come back to table. So I was cueing what the people online were doing. So now we're gonna press, you're gonna do the opposite, Josh. Now we're gonna press into our right hand and inhale, sweep our left arm up. And then exhale, thread the needle. You can extend your arm forward and breathe. And notice what feels good. Be here for about 30 more seconds. Gently bring your straight arm underneath your shoulder. This is your right hand, and then press down. Inhale, sweep the left arm up, look up. And then exhale, come to tabletop. Take a couple of rounds of cat-cow here. Release your spine. Inhale, lower sitting lift sitting bones, lower abdomen, look forward, and then exhale, dome your spine, tuck your chin into your chest. Good. Take one more round here. And then we're going to gently come into a seat for butterfly pose. So for this one, you'll sit facing the wall, and Josh is going to use a blanket. So he's going to take his blanket and fold it into a small square. And then when he sits, he's going to sit with the corner of the blanket sticking out between his inner thighs. This is to help him fold a little bit more and to protect his low back. And so you can take your right hand to your right sitting bone and spread it to the right, and your left hand to your left sitting bone and spread it to the left. And make sure that you're in a diamond shape with the legs, so the heels don't need to be close to the groin. Start to lean forward from the chest. Go as far forward as you can, and then you can let your head come forward towards your chest. You might feel a stretch in your outer hips here. You might feel a stretch in your low back. And if you're a little tighter in the inner groin, you might feel a stretch there. We'll be here for one more minute. Can you reconnect to the breath and notice what feels good? Maybe you can even feel the breath moving in and out of the nostrils, noticing how nice it feels to inhale and then to let go and exhale twice that amount. Gently begin to lift your torso up, and you can use your hands to draw your knees together. So we're going to come to lay on our back now, and this is where we'll finish class, but you'll need your strap and your blanket. So locate your strap and then place your blanket under your head as a pillow. Let the rounded sided fold of the blanket be your pillow. Yep. And then you're going to bend your legs and place the strap on the right foot, extending the right leg up towards the ceiling. Let your elbows rest in line with your shoulders and loosely hold the strap. Try to straighten your right leg as much as you can. If you'd like, you can extend the left leg forward. We'll be here for about 1 minute. Now, as you're here, see if you can feel a stretch in the back of the right thigh by reaching the heel upward, pulling the toes down. Feeling your calf and your hamstring. And then notice your breath. Return to the breath. Let the belly rise with the inhale and fall with the exhale. We're going to begin to switch sides now. You can take your left foot up into the strap. And you're welcome to straighten the right leg if you'd like. Elbows rest on the floor next to the shoulders and straighten your left leg. Can you reach the left heel up, pulling the toes down, lifting that kneecap up? Noticing how it feels in the body and noticing how exhaling more can decrease that feeling of intense stretch. And gently start to take the strap off of your left foot. You can set it to the side and hug both legs into your chest. We're going to set ourselves up for Shavasana. I will guide you into Shavasana, and then you can stay as long as you have time. So before you come in, just rock from side to side on your low back, hugging your knees into your chest. And then when you're ready, you can gently extend one leg out and then the other. If you have your bolster nearby and you want to put it under your thighs, you're welcome to do so. This will support the low back. You can extend the arms along the sides of the body with the palms facing upward. If there's any props that you're not using touching you, just gently place them out of the way. Soften your toes. Soften the bottoms of your feet. Soften your ankles. Soften your calves. Soften your knees. Soften your thighs. Soften your hips and your glutes and your abdomen. Soften your low back. Soften your chest and your upper back. Soften the fingers, palms of the hands, forearms, biceps and shoulders. Let the front of your neck soften and the tongue move upward towards the top of the mouth. Jaw is soft. Eyes are soft. Forehead is soft. Let your body rest here for as long as you have time. What you do for yourself, you do for others, and what you do for others, you do for yourself. And you cannot pour from an empty cup. Thank you for allowing me to guide you in your practice. I bow to you.